Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Monday. It is the Aloha Perspective where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. So, I have a new shirt, and I'm super excited about it. It's the Electrical Parade. Yeah. Anyways, I'm looking normal today because I don't have a card. In fact, I'm going to be traveling today, so I don't have any. I don't have any cards. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to be winging it and just starting right from the beginning. Or, maybe I'll come up with a quote or something. I'll come up with a quote or something to start the day so I can wait for people to get on. But today I'm just going to dive right in because, like I said, it is a travel day for me. So, woo! I'm going to San Diego to see my dad for the week, and it's May Day. It's May 1st. There's a lot of things that happen on May 1st. Rabbit. We're going to talk about that. Rabbit. And I have 3 articles I'm going to share to this page because, or to this live. So if you were, I'll try to remember to put them on YouTube, but sometimes I forget. So if not, you can go to my Facebook page, Shelly Marie Lucas, SHELLYMARIE, last name, just like the director of Star Wars. But, anyways, yeah, so you can go there. All the lives are public, so anybody can check them out. Okay, you do not need to be my Facebook friend, or all you really need to do is have a Facebook account. And I know some people don't like that, so, sorry, kind of is what it is. So, hopefully I will remember to put them in the YouTube comments, though. But anyways, let's get rolling. Actually, just let me do this really quick, because if I don't, I'm going to forget. But it is Lei Day in Hawaii. Lei, as in L-E-I, day in Hawaii. It's Beltane. And if I messed up that saying, you can blame YouTube, because I looked it up 3 times to make sure I got that right, because the Celtic Gaelic language just throws me every time. It's like, why can't you just spell a word to sound like the way it's spelled? So, I know. I don't mean to rake people's alphabets over the coal. So anyway. So yeah, and then it's also, as I said, rabbit. So we're going to talk about Lei Day. We're going to talk about rabbit, and we're going to talk about Beltane. And I'm just going to kind of give you the gist of all of them. Like I said, I do have the articles on there. I found them so interesting, and they all really kind of run into each other on the same day. So I really, really wanted to talk about that. I thought it would be kind of fun. So let's dive in. Let's see. I made notes, but my brain is fuzzy today because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So, aloha. It's Lei Day, and the first day of, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. It's the first day of Asian American Pacific Islander month. And we're going to go into the history of that tomorrow. Started out as a week, and then somebody decided that we deserve a month. So then I say we because I am half Asian Pacific Islander. Believe it or not, the Asian is my mom. She was Filipino. And the Pacific Islander is sort of her, depending on the day, depending on what day everybody wants it to be. And my dad is actually the Hawaiian, so, and European and British. So, but they were both born in Hawaii. All 3 of us were born in the same hospital. So there you go. You have a Shelly fun fact. It's a Shelly Marie fun fact. My father, my mother, and I were all born in the same hospital. And not on purpose. My dad was in the military at the time I was born, and my mom said, I asked her once and said, why wasn't I born? Because they have what they call Tripler Hospital. And I'm not sure if it's still pink, but it used to be this big pink, like Pepto-Bismol. Pepto-Bismol. Oh my God, why can't I say that right? Anyways, pink. And it would stand out on this green mountain. But that was the military hospital. My mom said she didn't want me born there because she wanted to make sure she went home with the right kid. So that is a huge distrust. Sorry. My kitty discovered my suitcase open and decided she had to sit in there. And I think she's had enough. So anyways, so it's the first day of Asian Pacific Islander month, and to not be left out, it's also Beltane. So, Lei Day. I took this from today.com, and the article is by Kate Hansen. And again, I will share the articles to the comments. But In fact, let me open that up so I can do that and not forget. Lei Day. Okay, so as you know, leis are used to welcome people, or say goodbye. Whenever I get to Hawaii with my mom, my grandma would have leis for us whenever we'd leave. Same thing. Graduations, weddings, even funerals. Sometimes the families will wear a lei. Usually, sometimes it's given to them, or sometimes they just wear it. The men wear the one with the leaves on it. So, which I believe are the tea leaves. I'm not really sure. My mind is, but I know. Such a bad Hawaiian. I always call myself a very, very off Hawaiian. But so again, leis are usually for, I guess to sum it up, it's like a celebration of life, right? And people everywhere use it, not just Hawaiians anymore. I mean, my understanding from the article was that once the tourists and the travelers started to see the traditions and stuff, all of a sudden, poof, it spread worldwide, right? So you could have people who aren't even Hawaiian, and you'll see their kids running around after graduation with a billion leis on. Because, I mean, it also depends on who you know, right? I mean, I know when I graduated from high school, I was covered up to here with leis. And that's kind of typical, especially, I mean, we had a lot of family out and everything. And one of my aunts actually sent the lei from Hawaii. So, and nowadays you can find them almost anywhere. You can order them. If you're in California, especially, you can find them. I mean, there's just big Hawaiian communities everywhere. And when I say Hawaiian communities, not necessarily bloodline. So I'll go a little sideways on the Lei Day. As you know, in the United States, if you're born in whatever, you could be born in Oregon and you'd be considered an Oregonian. California, you're considered a Californian. Hawaii, you're considered a Hawaiian. But that's the trick, is that there are actually native Hawaiians, and then there are people of different nationalities that are born in Hawaii. So they have decided to distinguish them by saying, oh, are you Hawaiian? Yes, I'm Hawaiian bloodline. Which is, to be honest with you, it's kind of a snobby thing to say. It's very, you can't just say, yeah, I'm Hawaiian. And I'm not gonna lie, a family member, a cousin-in-law family member told me, she's all like, oh yeah, she's all, well, no, you're not just Hawaiian, you're Hawaiian bloodline. And she's all, make sure to say that, because people need to know that, you have roots on that island. So it's like, but I will say, people that are not Hawaiian by blood, some of them are more Hawaiian than I am. I really got to get back in touch with my culture, because that's how I was raised. I was raised in the Hawaiian culture, even though I grew up in California, in San Diego. And, but again, both my parents were raised there. My father is actually Hawaiian. My grandmother was Hawaiian. And so, and we go way back on that island. I think I traced somebody did the lineage, and I think it got all the way back to like the 1600s, 1700s maybe. I don't know. I have to look in my book, but dang. So anyways, so used to welcome, say goodbye, or for a myriad of celebrations, or the celebration of life. People will drape them over the coffins or put them on the person. Leis are rooted deeply in Hawaiian culture and I feel as if they themselves tell a story. I mean, if you're at a graduation and, you see somebody just buried in leis, not just one lei, or not just, but I mean, buried them, that's the culture. So, Lei Day, interestingly enough, Lei Day did not come about from, that I know of. I don't know much about this American poet, but it came from an American poet, Don Blanding, in 1928. As a gesture, he wanted to note the celebration of the making, giving, and wearing. Excuse me. This is turning out to be a Monday. I am so sorry. This is becoming a Monday. So anyways, my head is draining. So again, Lei Day was proposed by American poet Don Blanding in 1928 as a gesture to celebrate the making, the giving, and wearing of the lei. So he saw the art in it. He saw the culture in it, the history in it. So in 1928, because he got together with a journalist with the Star Bulletin and said, hey, we should make this a thing on May 1st. So May Day is Lei Day, began in 1928. But it wasn't until 1929 that Governor Farrington declared May 1st as Lei Day officially. So for the last 94 years, 1929, yeah, for the last 94 years, May Day is Lei Day, has been on May 1st. And of course we know there's May Day where you go around the maypole and all that. So I would like to think that it's a similar tradition. It's just welcoming in the new month, and just really celebrating a really significant and important part of the Hawaiian culture. There's so many immigrants that came through to Hawaii, like a lot of Asians, just a lot of Asians, and I just say a lot of Asians from all over Asia. You have the people that sailed in, the missionaries from Britain and the mainland of America. And it's just Hawaii never seemed to have its own holiday. So, they celebrated all kinds of different holidays. They celebrated the American holidays, or they adopted the American holidays. They adopted the holidays of immigrants who came over and, even though they've been there for generations, have, still celebrated their own traditions as well, kind of adding to the hodgepodge. I mean, to me, growing up in the Hawaiian culture really was a hodgepodge of different things. Like the ramen noodles, or, the Hawaiians have the kalua pig, which, a lot of people like to make fun of it because they would cook it in the ground, but they would cook it in the ground because that's where it was like an oven. I mean, come on, they didn't have ovens in the way back days, or they'd cook it on a spit, right? Case in point, one Thanksgiving, we were dropping off some stuff at my cousin's house before we went to my uncle's house for Thanksgiving, and her husband, my other, cousin-in-law, was cooking the pig on the outside, and I can't tell you how many people were stopping and just can I take a picture? Do you mind if I get a picture? You never see this. It was a Hawaiian house. It was a Hawaiian cultured house. So, the pig was just going, just spinning out there, right, for all the world to see. But, and it really is an art. To me, that is an art. I mean, you can't just throw, and Hawaiians are not the only ones who do this, obviously, right? I think they learned that from the people that did settle there. Maybe from, you see it, right? You see it in old-timey movies where they go back a couple of centuries and you see them cooking stuff on a spit. But the reason they would bury it in the ground is they bury them with hot lava rocks and everything, and it would cook the pig underground. So, and they didn't just throw it in the dirt, okay? They gutted it, they cleaned it, they did all the stuff. And I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody with all of that extra information, but they would cover it, put it in the ground, and cook it. So, and a lot of traditions still, like at a luau, like a big functioning luau for the culture, they'll still sometimes do it that way, and they'll have it blessed, and they'll bless it before it comes out of the ground. So it really is a big, big symbolic thing. But May Day was specifically made for the state of Hawaii, so that the Hawaiians, or the Hawaiian culture, or the bloodline Hawaiians, would have something to celebrate and make their own, since, again, leis are very, very, or originate to Hawaii. So, and even making a lei is not easy. When I was in 9th grade for my public speaking class, we had to do demonstrations, and I thought I had enough flowers. I had 24 carnations, and I think I only made enough for a crown. So it takes time, and it takes a lot of aloha and love, and I mean, when I say aloha, we talked about this last week. Aloha it's a feeling, it's a spirit. I mean, yeah, it has definitions, written definitions, but it really is a spirit and a feeling. So, you know, when someone's making a lei, they're making it with a lot of aloha. They're putting a lot of their love and their time into this. And a lot of times, you can really feel it. So when you're in the airport or when you're somewhere, this is why they can be so expensive, because it takes time to make these things. And I'm sure that when you get better at it, you can just whip them right out, right? Big old string, stick flowers on. But it's still made with a lot of love. So even the knitted ones and the handmade ones out of yarn or thread, money leis have also become a very traditional thing for like weddings, or especially graduations, like when kids are graduating. I have a friend of mine who I say he and his husband are much more Hawaiian than I think I am. Oh, I'm getting there. But you know, about a month ago, they started putting together their money leis, and people wrap them. You know, they make the dollars out of flowers and then they attach it to the lei. So there's all kinds of different traditions that have been born out of this. So remember, for the last 94 years, May Day is Lei Day. Now, let's move on to the next fun thing, okay? Rabbit, rabbit. That's right, rabbit, rabbit. You say it on the first day of the month, and it's supposed to bring you good fortune and a good month. And, you know, they say good fortune, but it could be anything. It could be a good month. Maybe everything goes right for you. Maybe you get a raise. Some people will say that before they ask for a raise. Rabbit, rabbit. Maybe say it before, maybe you play the lottery or something. You know, go out there, rabbit, rabbit, and then hand in your thing, and hopefully you get the numbers that you want. So, but either way, it's to bring good fortune. But if you just say it and you don't believe it, like you just, oh, rabbit, rabbit, nothing's going to happen. Okay, so it is reported in the article I was reading that President Franklin Roosevelt, our president during World War II, would say this at the beginning of every month, and apparently so does Sarah Jessica Parker. So see, pick your person, right? Whether you want entertainment or you want, you know, a world leader. But I'm sorry, my computer's going crazy. Lots of people say this, and I actually learned it from a friend of mine about a year ago. She just, you know, we had this group where we share our list, baby sibling, our friend and I, and yeah, she just, one day she just randomly said rabbit, rabbit. I'm like, what does rabbit, rabbit mean? She's also, you say it at the first of the month. So, you know, as I started to look it up and do some research on this, as you know, rabbits are about, well, they are about fertility, because like bunnies, but they're also good luck. They're good omens. You know, hence the poor little rabbit foot that, you know, it's like, please leave the bunnies alone. Okay. Make a fake rabbit foot and pretend it's real. All right. But don't kill the bunnies for their feet. I had one when I was a kid and I didn't understand the significance of it, but, it wasn't actually real. Thank God. It was plastic. But now that I think about it, it's like, oh my God, that would have been terrible. Like, this is poor rabbit foot. So leave the bunnies alone. But anyways, bunnies are so cute. So, so the first day of the month, you can either say rabbit, rabbit, or white rabbit, or some variation of rabbit. Okay. So, nobody really knows where it originated from. It just kind of happened. So it's just kind of a thing. But even though no one really knows the origins, in 1909, an article in Britain's Notes and Queries noted that parents observed their children saying rabbit, rabbit on the first day of each month. And here I said again, President Franklin Roosevelt never missed a first day of rabbit, rabbit, and apparently even SJP says it. Then like I said, I heard it about a year ago. So if you want some good luck before you do something, or you want some good luck to maybe just get you through the month, rabbit, rabbit. All right. So, and last but not least, we have Beltane. Beltane is a Celtic Gaelic tradition. And again, if I said it wrong, not my fault. I Googled the hell out of this word because I wanted to make sure I said it right, because I have a tendency to butcher Gaelic words. So anyways, I'm pretty sure I got this one right. God, I'm like a hot mess today, aren't I? It must be Monday. But anyways, Beltane. It is halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice, and it's a celebration of life. Beltane comes from the Gaelic word meaning bright fire. For the Gaelic Celts, it was a fire festival celebrating the beginning of summer. So, we have all these fancy words, right? We have equinoxes, we have words to explain equinoxes, but I would assume 1,000 years ago they had the winter solstice and the summer solstice, and somewhere in between was spring, and somewhere in between those two was fall. So you had your changing of the seasons. They knew that in the fall it's the harvest time. It's fall is harvest time. Spring is when everything grows. So you plant in the spring, you harvest in the fall, you get ready and get all your stuff ready for winter when it's cold and nothing grows, obviously. And then in the summer, where you just enjoy all the fruits of your labors, right? And so Beltane was a time that they would have these big fire festivals, and they would create these special bonfires. And from those bonfires, some people would take from what I understand from other articles I've read, and I didn't see it in this one, but I didn't go that deep on this one. I do know that a lot of the people that did these things, a lot of them were herders and farmers. So, I guess what we would call ranchers nowadays. So they would take their animals and not walk them through the fire. Okay, no, they're not having a big old food festival here. No, from the smoke that would come from these special bonfires, they would walk their livestock through the smoke. And that was to protect them and to make them bountiful. So, and then some people who were getting married would sometimes go through the smoke as well, so you would have an abundant and successful, union, not reunion, but successful union. So, Beltane comes from the word meaning bright fire. It's a time for great gatherings. Special bonfires will fuck's sake. Special bonfires were built, and herdsmen would walk their cattle through the smoke that was considered to have protective powers. People would also take the embers and light their fires in their hearths. This was considered to be protective and to encourage growth in their animals and their lives. So not only would some of them walk through the fire also for these protective, after all the livestock went through. If there was still smoke, you were allowed to go through. And but they would also take the embers from these things and light the hearths in their home, and that would not only warm it up, right, but would also give you that that protective power, and be symbolic of growth and in your lives and your animals' lives. And by that, I think it's because you're putting the ember in there and all the other ones light up from that, so that is a sign of growth. But no matter what your poison is today, whether everybody can do the rabbit, but whether you celebrate May Day, or May Day is Lay Day, or Beltane, or maybe you celebrate all three depending on where you live, or whatever your culture is, go out there and enjoy it. Okay, I mean, all of these things are very, very special. Somebody thought to give Hawaiians their own real true holiday that symbolizes them, not just because of the leis. I mean, Hawaii is a very deep culture, and it's very rooted. If you really stop and think about it, Hawaiians are also Native Americans. I know that we call them Native Hawaiians, and I'm sure they don't appreciate me calling them Native Americans, but in a way they are Native Americans. They are our natives. And just like the original Native Americans, thousands and thousands of years ago, they migrated to these places. The Native Americans here migrated across and, made their way all the way down to the south. I mean, we're talking thousands of years ago. And the Hawaiians, they followed the star. They traveled from the Ring of Fire, which is usually like, all the Pacific Islands, and, or Austronesia, which is what I've heard they call it now. And they migrated to Hawaii thousands of years ago, spreading, the Polynesian trail far and wide. So, there's a lot of different things that we can learn about a lot of different cultures. Sometimes we just need to take our head out of our own little books and our own little lives and start reading about other places. I mean, as you know, I am obsessed with Britain. I don't know why. I was born that way. Since I was a kid, I have always loved it. I feel, and yes, I'm going to step out of my lane for a second. I feel that I probably had a few past lives there. Because I'm telling you, when I got to London, the first thing I thought was, I feel like I'm home. I did. I literally said that. I said, I feel like my soul has gotten home, has come home. And I love my country that I live in. I love being an American. I know there's a little bit of sketchy shit going on right now in this country, and there's battles going left and right, but even though people like to call me a hippie or a flower child, I tell you, I do bleed red, white, and blue, which I guess could also be Britain or France or any other country that has red, white, and blue. So stars. I also bleed the stars. So, but I love my country. But when I got back, see, that was a Freudian slip. When I got to England, it felt like my soul sighed. I did exactly the one thing older sibling asked me not to do. I went out for a midnight walk. She told me, she's all, after so-and-so drops you off and they go home, please, please, please do not leave your flat. I left my flat. I didn't tell her, but I did. I told her the next day. I know. I literally will sometimes live my life like I am surrounded by steel cages. I don't know. Not always the smart move, but I do use my spidey instincts, so I was doing my best to be safe. But I will say this, it was a very safe neighborhood. So, because I stayed in Notting Hill, and apparently in the way back days, apparently it was a little bit of a sketchy neighborhood, but not anymore. It is a very beautiful place. It is a very fun place. And yes, if you go into my Facebook page, for those of you who are friends of mine, and you go to, I think, day 2, you will find the travel store from the movie, Notting Hill. That's the only thing people asked me to take a picture of. So, I know, Stonehenge, Avebury, all they wanted was a picture of that store. Seriously. But anyways, and you know me, guys, I love history, so, that the whole British Isles is just teeming with that. I can't wait to get to Europe. I'll probably pass out if I do from just like a historical overload. So, I know. And like I said, I love my country. We have a lot of history here, but it's interesting to think, just to put it into perspective. I have a friend that I kind of pen pal pictures with on Twitter, and he's all, I just read an article the other day that says people who are in their 80s have lived basically 1/3 of America's history. 1/3 of America's history. Because technically we're only 247 years old. 247 this year. 247 this year. I know it doesn't seem very old, right? Older sibling and I were watching this show called Haunted Scotland, which I think is called Spooked Scotland in Britain. But they were sitting there like, yeah, this building was built, or this building was built in like 1300 something or 1400, and she's just like, wow. This big castle type place, and it's just like, wow. I'm like, I know, right? It's like, the first colonists hadn't even gotten here yet, and here's this building standing there with all this history 500 years later. So it's something to really kind of think about, when we look around. And even if you go farther south into South America, you have the Mayan temples, you have remnants of the Aztec Empire. In Mexico, they have a lot of stuff. Mexico's older than the United States. And, we're barely older than Canada, but Canada and the United States were going back and forth with, there were 2 revolutionary wars. There was the one that the Americans won, and then the British weren't happy with that, so then we had the War of 1812. And my friend who's Canadian, has decided that, that they won. And I had to remind him that something's making me pay for this. Excuse me. Probably my uppityness. I had to remind him that we're not under British rule. So, so we decided it was a draw. But either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They are our neighbors to the north. And technically, I would say we're still about the same age. But, our neighbors to the south. Long history, long history. So there's a lot of different things that we can look at, talk about, dive into. But just appreciate what's around you. Appreciate what's around you. Appreciate the super tall trees. If you're on the east coast of the United States, appreciate that history. California history is so young because, it really is. It's so young. It is, yeah. I am so sorry. Baby sibling always told me not to apologize, but my brain is just, I know. I haven't even had coffee yet, but I'm just everywhere. I think it's because I have stuff I still have to do before I get going in the next 20 minutes. So, my brain is going in 9 directions. But anyways, I really wanted to get this out today, and I like the subjects that we had. May Day is Lay Day, Rabbit, and Beltane. So like I said, I am going to put these in, I'm going to put these in the article links in the comments, and maybe you can read up about them. I'm telling you, they're good reads. They're not very long. They're fairly short. So have at it, just look at something new and explore it and enjoy it. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll be back here tomorrow at 8, well, not here in San Diego, the one with the orange walls. So I'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch them. It's under Shelly Marie Lucas. I do share these to my Facebook page and my YouTube page, the Aloha Perspective, both under the Aloha Perspective. If you follow me on Twitter, you're going to see the links there. So again, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for putting up with me and all my coughing as my post-nasal drip starts going. Good Lord. I'm telling you. I guess I have allergies. I'm going to have to accept the fact that after 40 some odd years, 50 years, really, I finally got allergies. What a blow. What a blow to my ego. So anyways, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.